everyone, today we're going to look at the Lark's head join. This join is similar to the Catherine wheel join in that it looks exactly like a double stitch, but it is actually a join. Blends in very nicely with the rest of our stitches and it literally disappears. I don't use a Lark's head join in my everyday tatting just because it's a bit fiddly, but I do use it in special pieces. So the way we make a join differs slightly depending on whether you're working on the front or on the back of your piece. I'm going to show you how to make the join on the front side first. So using your crochet hook, go down through your loop, through your picot, pull up a loop and park it on your finger like you do for a normal join. We need to open up our ring, which in turn allows us to make our loop bigger. Use your index finger and your thumb to splay the loop open. Then we're going to twist the loop back on itself. Come over the top. So you've got your loop, splay it open, coming over the top, back down. Secure that with your thumb. Take your shuttle, we're going to weave it through the loops by going down through the first loop and then come from underneath and come back up through the second loop. Make sure you have 2 threads running over the top of your shuttle and the loop is under our thumb to the left. So this will form the legs and the cap of our join. So keep your thumb on the loop while you pass your shuttle through. Then as you release your thumb, transfer the loop from under your thumb to the pick on your shuttle. So I use the pick to help take the slack out of the loop. You can see that the loop is connected to my ring and the ring is connected to my shuttle. So by wriggling and sliding back and forth between my left hand and my shuttle, I can tighten the join and make any adjustments while the loop is still on my pick. It just gives me a bit more control. And when I'm done, removing the pick allows that loop to be pulled down and gives me the cap for my join, just like a double stitch. So be careful when you're picking up your loop. If you pull one of the inside threads first, so one of the legs, instead of pulling the loop, you're going to get yourself in a bit of a tangle. Now I can continue on and complete the ring. If we're working on the back side, we're generally making a chain. So we need to reverse what we just did. So using the crochet hook, come up through the picot and pull a loop down. And park that on your finger. Now, if you're still doing a ring, you would need to open up your ring. If you're working chains, give yourself a little bit of slack so you can extend your loop. So use your index finger and your thumb to splay the loop open. But this time, when we twist the loop back on itself, we're coming up underneath. So before, when we're on the front side, we came over the top. When we're on the back side, we loop underneath. Hold that in the center with your thumb. And the shuttle is woven through the loop, but just like we changed the direction that we twisted our loop, we're going to change the direction that we weave our shuttle. So come up through the first loop and go down through the second. Keep your thumb on the loop where you pass your shuttle through, and then release your thumb and transfer the loop to the pick. Now you can see as I've got it like this, I've got my 2 threads running through the middle. They're the legs of my stitch, and the loop will become the cap. So to wriggle and adjust, if we're working our chain, it's easier to take it off your finger and pull most of the slack out of that loop. Pop it back on your finger, and then use your pick to pick up that loop and wriggle and adjust. To undo a lark's head, you can use the pick on your shuttle or a tapestry needle. You just need to get under the cap, work that cap loose, and then backtrack with your shuttle. So you have your first loop, and then there'll be a second loop. And then that will pull out. Now we come to the question of whether we count the join or not. Because the join has the appearance of a double stitch, technically you are meant to subtract 1 stitch from the count, either before or after the join. So if I was going to do it before the join for this piece, I would tat 6, make my join, and tat 6. The final stitch count would include the join as a normal stitch. So that's great, except that you can see the center of my rings are out of whack. So personally, I prefer to ignore the join and my stitch count doesn't get thrown out. I would tat 6, make the join, and tat 6. So on appearances, I have an extra stitch, but technically it's a join. That's the way I personally like to do it. Other people prefer to adjust their stitch counts. So just be mindful of that when deciding which way you want to go. As always, consistency is key. Do what works for you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.